Maybe there was one thing I forgot to do. There we go. Yeah. I wanted to make sure Steam overlay was off. Cause in these lower res games, that the little Steam overlay pop-ups get kind of big. So this is Hellsinker. It's nominally a shoot 'em up, but it's a lot of things. Pretty lengthy for a shoot 'em up. A full run can be like 45 minutes to an hour, depending on, or maybe even a little more, depending on how hard you go on scoring, since you may want to milk some of the bosses if you're into scoring stuff. There's a lot going on, story-wise and gameplay-wise. 4 different playable characters, except it's more like 7. Because the 4th character, Kagura, who is unlockable, actually has 4 different, and don't remember how to navigate some parts of this menu. It's been a bit. 4 different, because one of those playable characters, the 4th unlockable one, is still shorter than Gradius 5. Yeah, and that game fucking loops. Anyway. Because I'm having trouble navigating the menu here. I think I might be having D-pad issues. This should do it. This should fix things. And mess with the setting because I thought there was something else going on. I realized my problem wasn't a problem, so... What I got? Oops. Should be fine now, but I'll check around the practice chamber. Because this game does have a training mode, useful for like... Gradius 5 length because reviewers thought Ikaruga was too short. Yeah. The whole shmup review thing is... This is a fine time to be having controller issues. But yeah, like... Ikaruga takes me a long time, but that's because I was trying not to continue, and the game's really fucking hard. Yeah, any shoot must up quick if you just continue all the way through it. That's why they just don't let you do that in this game. This game you get one continue, and also there's a part of the game that forcibly takes it away from you. Yeah, the game uses keyboard. The game accepts keyboard. I just don't like it. I just usually use controller. But also, it's working fine now. But yeah, you can do training in parts of the game. The chapters are like a tutorial, which is weirdly long-winded and to the point where people kind of had trouble with it. Free training literally just means you can fly around and do things, and measuring instrument and gives you something to shoot and lets you measure your damage. So you can see various attacks that the character has. This is a good place to go over things. character I'm going to be using, at least to start with, is Monogame, who I haven't used them in a while, but they're kind of the easiest person to use, I think, in many ways. For good shmup controllers, no, honestly, I'm just using a fucking PS2 controller plugged in with like a weirdly good adapter. So, don't trust me for controllers, I don't know shit. I used to use a wireless Saturn controller by Retrobit that was really good, but the buttons started sticking, and also Retrobit did some awful shit with like stealing fan translations for re-releases of games, so can't really recommend that one. So Monogame A here. A mechanic in this game that characters that aren't Monogame, well, two of the other characters anyway, Deadlight and Foster Maiden, have something called a mistletoe, which is basically like a helper that you can send out to do damage in other areas and stuff. Mistletoe doesn't have that. Monogame doesn't have that because they're just too fucking powerful, and their psychic powers would make one like blow up. Like non-binary people could just do that. You have to understand. So instead, they have like a normal shot. They have like a chargeable like energy field around them. You can see that meter fill up above them. How long it'll last. And their main thing is that they have two sub-weapons they can use, like, when that sub-weapon meter on the left is full. If they fire while not holding the main shot button, you get these homing lasers. Partially charged, you get this kind of piddly homing shot, but generally with Monogame, both of their sub-weapons want to use it when full. Those homing lasers are great. The only issue with the homing lasers is that in some places they'll like lock onto things that they can't destroy, and so you might want to use the other sub-weapon, which is this big old damage dealing circle that also makes you invincible the whole time you're in it. So the thing in this game is, whenever the screen looks inverted like that, it's because you're invincible. You can also see it with the discharge, which is basically like a bomb in most shoot 'em ups. Takes at least 3 of that soul meter on the left. That has to be at least level 3, but once at higher levels, it'll be stronger. That's mostly what you'll do with Monogame. You don't really use their normal shot much, except for like one specific thing near the end of the game that literally requires being normal shot. Let's go for the game. Aim. You got full sequence order. Segment location just let you choose a level and play just that one. Full sequence order is the full game. Short mission is something you unlock after the game, where you can play basically a shortened version of the game, where at certain points where you choose which one of 2 levels and you'll skip the other one. That was useful because the game has multiple final bosses and endings, and it being so long means that you might want you can unlock things by getting like the best ending. So, it's easier to get that in short mission. And Great Majority and Way of All Flesh are basically extra stages that you unlock after getting the best ending. But I'll leave that for later, since it's not likely something you'll first see when starting the game. Anyway, you got a bunch of funky options here. There's the speed control option. Automatic slows you down while you're holding the fire button. You don't really want that. It's easier to control, but very limiting. Momentary, half speed while you're holding the slow button. This is like Down Apache Laser, Toho Focus button, the usual. If you've played like any sort of modern bullet hell, you've probably done something like this. Alternative changes that button to like toggle between fast and slow. Here, do like things old style. A lot of older games had speed toggles. And Tri-Phase is also a toggle, but it's got 3 speeds between 30, 360, and 100%. Which is more old game stuff where they had more speed settings. I'll stick with Momentary. Way of Life. This affects your max lives. If you want to just beat the game, you want 7, because it's more. But if you want scoring, you actually want Drastic, which puts you at 5. And the reason for that is that when you get an extra life from collecting enough life chips while you have max lives, you get bonus points in a stacking bonus. It's called Immortality Bonus. So if you have fewer max lives, you can get those faster. Egg. And finally, Bootleg Ghost. Ghost gives you like it's basically like sort of like an auto bomb, though not really a bomb, more just like protects you from a hit up to 3 times per stage, as long as you have enough soul to do a bomb. If it's on solid state, if it's on Aspirate, it'll give you that auto bomb. Autobomb only if you're at full 5 bars of soul. That's not really that helpful compared to this. Yep, you don't get the autobomb at all, but you also get like just some other change to the suppression field and how that works, which I don't really know how everything regarding that works, to be honest. I don't know everything about this game, but I think if you're scoring, this is what you need because of some of that changes. But I'll just stick with the like keep myself alive setting. Thank you very much. For the first time you play the game, you actually won't see this menu to choose between behind and lead for the first 3 stages. You'll by default you do the behind stages, which are a little easier and have like other things going on. So I'll do them. Find them a little easier. Only one of these can be destroyed in this section, the rest have those little things. Cool. By getting close to a lot of enemies, you can stop them from firing. That's what seal means. It doesn't work with everything, though, so careful with that one. Minogame handles this well because of the invincibility. Pass through that barrier, just get in that ass. Other characters have other ways of getting past walls like that. First extra life of many. This game gives you a lot of extra lives. That's why it's not really as hard as it can seem. You know, once you actually know how the game works. And there you can see like one of the problems with homing lasers where it locks onto like something that's really not all that helpful to lock onto, like an invincible component there. Alright, first boss time. I like this game because it's one of those games that gives you names for enemies everywhere. This boss is a Quiet Minstrel. They all have like fun, showy names like that. Quiet Minstrel's a pretty reasonable boss, especially if you don't really care. Right? Because if you want to score on bosses, or at least spirit score. See, this game has 3 types of score, because, you know, it's just more like that, I guess. But you've got spirits, which are probably closest to, like, take regular points, I guess. That you get them just for doing various things, like destroying enemies, grazing bullets, destroying destructible bullets. There's lots of stuff that gives spirits, and probably the most, like I said, scoring system. Tokens is tokens. You get they're little blue chip things that are everywhere as you destroy stuff. The more of those you get, there's like multipliers attached to that too. And finally, kills are like more or less exactly what it says. It's more kills and more points. Though I think those might also have like a multiplier system, funnily enough. Oops. Yeah, this game isn't like Like the main thing that makes this game hard for survival is figuring out how the fuck you're supposed to play it. Once you do, though, like, it is very generous with, like, lives and things. And you're, like, very fucking powerful. Like, obviously, Monogame here is spewing, like, homing death rays all over the screen and vomiting invincibility fields. But really, all the characters are quite powerful and plenty of ways of, raining death on their enemies very efficiently. Yeah, honestly, the mirror. So one nice thing is, like, you can at least turn the meters around the sprite off. And I'm gonna let you guys in a secret. I don't look at them. The reason I leave them on is because I think they look cool. So this is Glorious Symbol. This is what I consider the second wall of the game. The first wall is the tutorial, but that's for another thing. Hey, this thing, like, is very hard for first-time players. Its main thing is that it's, like, a very lengthy fight. This thing has a ton of health. It's a bit infamous for that. And as well as the fact that the way it moves all around the screen means that, that's easy to, you know, get caught by it like that, like I did there. Basically, those 4 targets on them, you have to destroy them, or each of them, like, countless times. At a solid state, so. Luckily, non-binary people can become invincible very frequently, so I have that power on my side. There we go. Yeah, vertical jump balls that force you to move to the top third of the screen. Isn't that crazy? But with some patience and care, you can make that not a problem. The lead stage here is really cool. I'll just show you it later, but I'm better at the behind one. I'll pick that one for now. Okay, one thing to note about this game, colliding with enemies doesn't actually damage you. So it'll only, but it does knock you around though, so. There are some parts of the game that are very made to take advantage of that. This part's neat. There's a bunch of shit flying around here. Or well, these 2, like, gun arms are cool. As you can see, my lives are maxed out now, which means that if I get more extra lives right now, I'll get more spears from it. I'll be immortal. You're not actually immortal. Do not let that fool you. I died. That was a poor play, but as mentioned, there's so many lives in this game and certain parts where you can refill a ton that, an early death is not too much to worry about, usually. This boss has a bunch of parts with those arms, but you can blow it off with the shoulder to make it He die a lot quicker. Have to deal with fuel. Took a lick there, but it's no problem. Still have my solid state, so. So those 3 stages are the ones where you actually get to choose the route out in the full game. After that, everything, or at least every stage is just presented to you. This is segment 4, like, this is the next part of the game to consider a difficulty jump, at least the boss of the stage. Also, this level is really cool. This level, the whole thing is that it's like, basically it's synced to the music and it ends at like a certain part of the song, but the faster you destroy enemies is the more things you can destroy, and you get some extra phases if you go through fast enough. Also, one of Minoga's main weapons being like an energy field around them means that there is like a lot of reward to playing aggressively and flying up at guys. Since it's your main way of doing damage, like that. Especially when you combine it with the ability to, you know, become invincible. Do some releases too. Got my discharge back. They call it a release, I meant discharge. Release is like total 16 brain. Or maybe Jack Black. I've seen some games without contact damage here and there, or ones where it's like limited, or only some enemies have it. But it is not the standard, it's true. One thing about, because your discharges are, powered by soul, if there's spots in the game where the enemies are dropping soul chips, then you can get, like, then you can just use them, like, really freely. Also, wow, I'm not even close to the bonus enemies here, I was slow here. But yeah, here's the boss. This is Rusted Dragon. Kind of a motherfucker, and the next big wall of the game. Hits fast, hits hard. Destroying those wings, like, changes phase too, but if you destroy it without destroying those wings, you get a revive token, which is basically just a free extra life. The wings also do have, like, more health bar, so, like, it's not like, hey, me depleting their health bar there, destroying them. Now we're putting up with her. There it is. Yeah. So the thing about this game is that a lot of bosses, especially that one, like if you do like destroy more parts of them for more points or whatever, you get like a bunch of different phases. Like there's a lot of this game you won't see by trying to kill bosses and just to survive. It's very interesting. Also, this game does have cutscenes with story. Sometimes. Here we find ourselves finally reaching the tower we're trying to enter. You know, when I was first like playing through this game, I thought this next level was like the last level. It feels kind of like a final level gimmick, and it's pretty lengthy, and the boss has a whole ton of phases. Now this is just like barely halfway. The game's just like this. One funny thing about this game is the fact that like honestly, this translation's pretty solid. I think like the writing is kind of thick and thick, but in a way that's like this is actually like English, which is more than I can say for a lot of Dojin games. Anyway, here you get to choose 2 paths, but within the stage rather than at a screen. Also, sometimes there's in-level dialogue. Monogame doesn't have a ton, but they have a little. Personally, I always pick this stage because I'm more practiced with its boss order, and also because I like the music a little better. Anyway, this level is cool. As you can see, that vertical scrolling is for chumps. We're now going in every direction. If I go in that circle there, I'll actually warp to the other side. There's a few spots that let you do that. Switch between like versions of the level. But I'll be sticking on the moon side for the entire time. But yeah, this game like has like a lot of different things going on with a lot of its levels. And like you'd see that even more if I had done like segment 3 lead, or even segment 2 lead has some unique stuff going on. So I really love this little synth melody here. Surprisingly chill and yet. Well, this place has so many life chips as mentioned, but took a hit I didn't want one. Since I've been at full lives for almost this whole thing. Anyway, this little mid-boss here has like a very obvious safe spot. This, if you like Seven Force and other lengthy boss gauntlets of that nature, well, meet Perpetual Calendar. We're gonna be here for a bit, folks. This is like a really cool like set of fights that I love a lot. Now you actually can do enough damage to like destroy this phase, but I usually just let time out because the timer's very short. So what's first? Yeah, Never Blossom. So if you're standing in the middle right there, you will just get punched to death by that big fucking wall thing it just threw at me. This attack can be nasty, because the laser that brings the fire trail can be very fast. It's a really cool attack. Alright. What's next? Oh, I get punched by that thing? Yeah, move. Second is... Curious Mediator. This thing likes to punch, too. See? Right like that. I just got fucking dumped. Alright. This phase isn't too hard, but because like the way those like big blasts carve up those panels out of the background, there's a lot of stuff to blow up. So that's fun. There's a breakthrough, that's a mechanic not to worry too much about. Alright, time for like, this is the one boss that's actually different between the two sides. This is Saint Mauve. On the other side, I'd be facing Olderos instead. Now, Saint Mauve, you can see, is like a humanoid boss rather than a big machine, and you can tell because besides them being that they also have like named attacks. Like here's Relic, Crest of Atonement, possibly Toho influenced. We do love our 7 belt cards. Down without a basis. Scene Tabernacle, all the very Chunibyo names of attacks here. Wow, I messed that one up. Pulled it out of that, but lost a number of lives. I can at least bet them back. Especially, actually, considering my Terror Gauge got to 0, I will definitely be able to get those lives back, though. We'll explain that later. Get me the hell out of this phase. The blue flame laser is probably the nastiest phase that thing has. And this is a Risk Defensor, who's really not too much of a problem. Pretty straightforward boss. Mostly. But once you destroy its arms, it gets kind of mad about it, but wouldn't you? And this is the final phase of Protectual Calendar. It sits in the middle and properly exposes itself while firing out both waves and lasers and things. Meant to bomb there, but alas. Well, we're out of there. Minogobe talking some shit, as they tend to do. Like I mentioned, Minogobe doesn't have much dialogue in this game, but in this level they chat a little, and they're kind of a cocky bastard. I like them. Anyway, I mentioned something about a Terror Gauge. I didn't talk about that much yet. It's kind of complicated. But it hit 0 during this stage, so something's going to happen now. Rather than segment 6, we're going to have a little dream. And we enter the Shrine of Farewell. Here we can you can highlight one of these to pick an order for the next couple bosses we're gonna fight. Can't say I remember what they are all that much, so let's just do this one. So the Shrine of Farewell takes away all your spirits. And makes their lives infinite. Here we fight a series of bosses. Inogame's crazy homing lasers will definitely come in handy against a lot of these. Belgian Pain. And yeah, all their attacks once again have names. It's a doujin shoot 'em up and was the style at the time. Innocent Clockworks. Right, Volcanic Libido. This one's pretty nasty. Big blasts of flame everywhere. And yes, those things do meow, if you were wondering. This Temporary Nil. Originator's Regal. This attack takes, like, extra small damage from, like, your attacks. Rather, you have to, like, guide the boss into, like, their, own, like, arrow to, damage them big time. It's a neat concept. So I can still stack on some extra damage from my homing lasers. Order. This one you gotta be careful of, because, those circles actually don't damage you, but they bounce you around into the lasers that are flying everywhere. Fatal Strikes. This one's just a nasty patter from all sides. Those kind of fishbone bullets. It mentioned there being cats. Here's 9 lives. Here, Swallow locks you in this cage while aiming at you. Fighter. Fast aimed attacks. Messed up. Yep. Time's getting close, but I should at least be able to clear out all 4 of these guys. I lost a ton of time on, like, the very first Earth attack of Great Imperialis, because that one's annoying with this character. Under the Silence is cool. Where those flames spiral in. We at least got to the last crystal, so which means we beat all the main ones. If you destroy everything fast enough, this boss shows up, and it just stays and lets you get points from it, but it was gone after only a few seconds, so... Anyway, these crystals represent your spirits, and they also count as life chips. So I can max out my lives here. And they also basically, so the way this works, like I said, it takes away your spirits, which are basically points, and at the end of it, depending on how well you do, they throw them back at you. Ooh, some amount of them. And if you do well enough, you can end up with actually score multiplied from what you started. So if you're scoring this game, you want to get this as late as possible, which is at the end of segment 7. And to have a really high score, and then get as many crystals as possible to multiply your score to huge numbers. Anyway, I wake up in the dirt, but actually feeling pretty well. Also, I mentioned before, this game only gives you one continue. That's gone now. Shrine of Farewell just takes that from you. So, if I run out of lives, that's it. And also, as mentioned, the Shrine of Farewell music does bang. You're right about that. One of my favorite songs in the game, as well as the boss of segment 6 that we're gonna see. Them. We're awake and perpetual calendar's down. But of course, we worry that things are only going to get. Yeah, continue just straight up keeps you out of the final boss. They just tell you to go home when you get there, so it's barely an option at all when you get right down to it. It's honestly probably a good thing. You don't want people credit feeding and then complaining about the game being too short, you know? There's a lot of lore and backstory to this game that I'm basically glossing over, partially because there's a lot, and partially because I don't really understand it all. Like, there's a lot. Like, there's stuff in the manual, there's stuff in these cutscenes in the game, there's stuff in dialogue with different characters, and there's a lot. But much like the player characters here, all we can do is continue. Hey, thanks for the raid. Dancing has to. I forgot how long this particular cutscene is. They usually just skip it. Begin. This is segment 6. You can get a ton of life chips here. From like a sort of hidden spot there. Since I'm at max lives right now, there's just a few more points. Here's the Elder Mistletoe Slug Lady. But the way to get a lot of damage on this thing at once is to wait for that big like pink blast of energy to show up, and then get it to like run into the boss and its little shield option things, like that. I do love the destruction in this game. Lots of good explosions. I definitely bumped aside that your recommend never started it. Many such cases. It's a game that is... when it comes to shoot 'em ups, it's like, obviously it's got challenge because of the genre. It's more, but I think it's more complicated than it is actually difficult. Mostly because the game does actually give you a lot of lives once you know what you're doing. As well as a bunch of really powerful attacks. Dogma, huh? I have not spent enough time with Dogma to say, sadly, so I will have to defer that question until I play more of that. Yeah, this game is super cool to look at. There we go. Great music, too. Love this, the kind of synthy, weighty and dramatic music it has. This is one of those places where I don't use the homing lasers as much because there's a lot of these walls that are indestructible. Mostly, they're indestructible by all your weapons. Those big blasts from the background can destroy them. You have to take advantage of that a few times. Yeah, this is part of the reason Minayota made such a good character for survival. These big invincibility fields that let you just, you know, not die, and even pass through solid things. Anyway, it's time for the hardest boss in the game. These are the Apostles of the Seed, and if you ever wanted to fight two guys that just fucking hate you, here you go. Kinda reminds me of that one fight in Mega Man Zero 2 where you fight the fucking Beetle brother assholes. Already messed that up. Also, the music for this fight goes insane. An interesting thing about this song, that's actually like a remix of a song from a previous shoot 'em up by this developer called Radio Zonde. The dev has been asked about like if there's any like lore connection there, but he said to not take it too seriously and just say it's a little tribute. His attack is so nasty. So is this one. I'm so bad at dodging this one. when you get them down to low health, they start performing their deadly team at the pack here. If you destroy one, the other, of course, has new techniques. So what kind of duo fight would it be if they didn't? Oh, and you know what's really funny? Yeah, the stage doesn't end when you beat the boss. There's like a whole escape sequence here you have to do too. Because fuck you, right? Almost out of it, but only got 2 lives left, so this is I only have 1 life left, so this is a very sticky situation. Honestly, because of all the charging you need to do as Monogame, that section's really hard because you can't like consistently destroy all these waves. So that's a game over. And after you reach a certain point in the game, you start getting little tidbits of pros when you game over as well. And I'm not sure what all that means. And yeah, you get a lot of lives in this game and a lot of very powerful attacks and like defense and lots of stuff. Or if I should go with a different character. I've always liked Moon Cradle Kagura. This is actually a very strong character as well. I'll do segment 1 lead this time. Okay, yeah. This thing has like a proper automatic like hold shot. If you want to like do rapid fire regular shot, maybe I had to mash. Also has that sort of like targetable laser blast. This is really good for damage, but obviously you have to more or less stop moving to aim it. But yeah, as you can see, the lead stages are a bit more intense generally. Also, this particular character and shot type does have one other unique advantage, which is that it only rather than getting a stronger discharge if you have more meter, it always only spends 3, which means that you can get your next one faster when you bomb. Basically just means lots of bombs, you know. So it's another good one for survival. Here's the alternate first boss. You'll see them called Rex Cavalier. Well, I'm curious if that's accurate, because you'll see that name again much later, and it'll look pretty different. If anything, this thing kind of reminds me of a lot of Arista Fencer from the professional calendar fight. It's also just really easy. Real quick first boss. Might as well do segment 2 lead as well. There's some interesting stuff going on with this one. The one thing I haven't mentioned is that this game does have rank, you know, dynamic difficulty, like a lot of shmups and other types of arcade games have. In this it's called Stella. You can see your current Stella level by the number and gauge on the left. On this level in particular, there's some special stuff can happen if you keep that Stella high and don't die. More specifically, the higher you keep it, the more lenient you have on dying, but we're trying not to die anyway, huh? The highest level of Stella is A here, or which is above 9. And so here we'll see a boss. This is, what's her name? Scarlet Queen, of course. Yeah, you don't want me. You stay silly. Thought I had a bomb left. My rank's getting pretty low. Ah, shit. Funny thing is, you get a few life chips when you die, so you can just die and get an extend at the same time. I think that's pretty funny. I'm just train wrecking this. And might not be able to show you the cool thing. Also, I like how these early bosses all have, like, some phase thing that, like, it syncs to this part of the song. Yeah, I'm not good at this thing out. Oh well. Unless it only cares what your rank is when you get to the boss, but I don't think that's true. Yeah. There would have been a cool extra phase here. It would have been cool. You're gonna have to believe me on that. Anyway, Stage 3 lead is super unique. You may notice the radar on the top of the screen. Yeah, that's kind of the gimmick here. There's these two, like, huge airships on either side that, like, they're here, like, the whole time until you destroy them. Of course, there's lots of other enemies flying around, too. See them on the radar. Oh, there's shots from the background aimed at you, too. Actually, I think they're from the foreground, technically. But yeah, as you can see, I'm honestly completely terrible at doing all 3 lead stages, especially if I'm trying to get the Scarlet Queen's secret. I'm already almost at Shrine of Farewell, as you can see by that Terra meter on the bottom left nearly being at 0, because it's at 20 right now. That's 1 airship down. These missiles are annoying too. And yeah, there goes my Terra already. I don't know the best way to deal with them. Something that really hits all around you. Okay, you can just put up the, you just stop shooting and get the, little basic force field up, and that mostly, but not entirely works, but situation bad. But if I do survive, I'm hitting the Shrine of Farewell, so. I do like how this stage gives you, like, the little title card at the end, rather than the start of the stage. Cute stuff. Anyway, that was terrible. Shrine of Farewell time. Actually, here you'll get this, if and when I finish this, you'll get to see a funny thing about, getting the Shrine of Farewell this early. Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking of something else, never mind. Are you doing Imperialis first again in this route? I usually do them first because I have trouble with them, but see, the thing about this attack is that if you discharge on this attack, it just fucking heals. Followed by sucking it into those big old circles. That said, Kagura here is way better at shooting that thing than Monogame is. The thing that makes it so tough with Monogame is that their homing lasers would lock onto the big circles and not damage the boss. I sometimes just try that because you lose reward on this if you discharge, but you also do if you die, so. Hurry up and die already. There's always some phase of this particular one that's... Also, thanks to having a better, like, actual gun, Kagura is great at destroying the counter stones there. Oh yeah, these fucking bloodlines will block some of your attacks. Those target lasers don't give two shits about that though. I'm having trouble with this. Hoping to get out of it. Hit him with the Mystic Square Alice there. Another one with the targeting laser. Great, but these blue bass are good if I don't keep running into the aim shots like a moron. Probably not beating this thing. It takes a while to beat this attack because of the way maneuver to get hit by its own. Yeah, 149 crystals is pretty bad. I believe the maximum amount is like 400 something, but it's like a weirdly specific number. Yeah, I only ended up with 4 lives at the end of that. That went badly. Oh well, you can still try and pick things up. You had a lot of lives in segment 5. Something to be had here with a bit of smart play. Not a great start to smart play. Stabilize a little. Not having any damage shield for the boss is going to be a bit of a pain, but... The way the game gets so wide here can make it tough to keep track of enemies and get stuff from them. It's widescreen Wednesday, I guess. The screen's not wide. There's a death I didn't want to take. Because, you know, as opposed to the deaths I do want to take, as this is for Battle Dragon or something. Building into the funny rocks, but... First attack is so stressful because of how far those, kinda... pinkish blast that become the little red lasers go. Almost dead, but I will get something from this end. Yep, the revive token from that. Destroying it without blowing up its wings. There's just a lot to learn in this game, which I like. Hope I can rack my lives back up here. The fact that you have a lot of chances to get lives back in this game is really cool. Like as someone mentioned, it means that a bad start isn't like an immediate run killer. Unless you're like going for score and trying to get like a zillion immortality bonuses, but if you're good enough at the game, you'll... the thing is, once you get good enough at shoot 'em ups to be worrying about that, then you're not going to accept less than perfection anyway, so... Here's the advantage of Cog right here, getting to use lots of discharges. Getting to just get some invincibility time in the faster moving parts of this is so nice if you want to get more of flies. It can be tough to visually keep track of like all these turrets that are shooting at you in this level because of, you know, visually there's a lot going on, I think. You can seal the turrets by getting close enough to them. It's still dangerous in charging in that much. Easy save spot. And see, we're back at max lives for Perpetual Calendar. Let's see if I can keep them. First is Never Blossom in the Big Poncho. Great Star Cake. Next is gonna be Curious Mediator. Charger can put out some big fucking damage, so. Definitely worth playing if you want to get rid of things that are causing you trouble. Same move again. Patterns. Same move does have a bit of dialogue. Bit of dialogue with Kagra. I don't think Kagra herself ever talks though. Big attack there. Really, I meant to discharge. This attack's funky. I like the way the birds like fly back. Also, the name Countdown Without a Basis. I'm curious if it has like a deeper meaning or if they just thought it sounded cool. Both are very valid. I have to escape that timeout. Alright, time for this attack. Look familiar here. Apparently even it has a name. Up in the upper right it says Lunatic Phantom. It's pretty crazy. See, I'm using all my discharges and still getting hit. At least close to another extra life, but don't like the situation, especially knowing it's ahead in segment 6. Okay. Alright, let's kill this clown. Oh. Well. Still been a pretty sloppy run, but we're hitting segment 6, so this is not nothing. See, ideally, when I'm playing this game, I want to get do well enough to not have the Shrine of Farewell till after stage 6, and because you can get a lot of you can get a number of life pieces at the beginning of segment 6 here, and then like if you can survive the old blowjob brothers, and well, you'll get a bunch of lives back after. But obviously that's predicated on, you know, surviving all this, not making dumb mistakes like that. you get life pieces here. It always makes me a little nervous. Just kind of tight areas, and if you hit the diamonds in the middle, you're likely to get a bad bounce into the little glowing orbs that kill you. So that's the kind of thing we want for Slugger. With her. There we go. And little waves here and things. This bit's not too bad, bit of a like everything's aimed at you, but it's Hellsinker. You have plenty of power to blow up a lot of these guys and clear a path for yourself. They're simple formation, but the shots are fast enough that you have to at least keep on your toes. Funny how these guys really don't even attack you most of the time because the game doesn't have contact damage. You're gonna be dropping a bunch of soul, you might as well use some discharges on it now. Alright. One thing I haven't talked much about is Luna. So, Luna tokens are like those blue things that come out of enemies when you destroy them. They're like score collectibles in a lot of shoot 'em ups, except for the fact that they fall up instead of down. That's a little weird. But the main other thing they do is that besides increasing your token counter and multipliers and stuff related to it, they also increase your Luna gauge, which basically is like ammo for your normal weapon. It goes down as you fire it, and can refill over time, but also is filled more by you can see it has high next to it right now. When you're at high E Luna, your attack is stronger. Then it goes to medium and lower the more you use. Sometimes the gauge works a little differently, but the concept's pretty similar. Kagura here has the attack power to really put the hurt on these two. Even if I do have to actually dodge properly to not get the hurt put on me. Really? Did that in time? The health bar you see in the middle of the screen, that's like at 60-some% right now, that's actually the health bar for that big sword in the background. That represents most of the guys here. This attack's nasty. It's literally a melee attack. It's chase you around swinging a big spinning blade. Oh, right, that attack. I don't think we even saw this one last time. Nasty fucking spear. Super fast, super nasty. I'm gonna be down to 1 life for this whole escape sequence. I'm honestly fucked if I survive for this, because I don't remember. Yeah, I don't even remember how to do that. Boss's last attacks. Like that's one thing about this fight. If you do want to kill them close to each other, because some of their new attacks, when there's one left, are nasty. Just a sec. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and refill my drink for a moment. You know, speaking of indie games, isn't Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4 gonna hit in like a week? That's gonna be crazy if you ask me. I'm excited, but still a little apprehensive, because... Look, I know this is like weird hipster take to me. I'm still not totally convinced that, maybe it's just that's what I want out of the game. I'm not fully convinced that, like, Deltarune's whole gameplay setup is gonna work as the game is gonna keep feeling good as the game gets longer. Maybe that's just me wishing it was a bit more of an RPG in terms of like character customization, party customization, stuff like that. But right now it does seem like it's gonna be a bit. It could like there's there's more to it than Undertale, but it's still kind of that same basic like set of actions, and this with a bit more flavor to specific characters, which is like it's fine. It's just I wonder if it'll get repetitive or like not varied enough as the game goes on, which it might not be a problem if like the dodging parts are exciting enough, but who knows. If it is anything like chapters 1 and 2, especially 2, it's gonna be fucking hilarious. Like I feel like there's not many games out there that got me to laugh as much as Deltarune Chapter 2 did. Because holy shit, that was a funny ass game. I am excited for Toby Fox and his team to finally get that out there. I know they've been working on it for years, and I know a lot of fans have been waiting for it for all that time, so it'll be a good time. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to RPGs, I am in kind of that specific space where I tend to like look for stuff like character and party customization, but not to the point where it like feels like it's overwhelming for me to handle. That's why I don't get into a lot of like older computer RPGs, like when I tried the original Fallout or something, because those like character building in those are a fucking process. So I'm not sure I'm quite up for that. But like the game to at least start me with some basics before it really tells me to do everything right. But also, that's kind of just me not being like okay, maybe it's just my pet peeve when it comes to trying some of those old RPGs, but shit. Games where they make you, like, roll virtual dice on character creation, and you can get stats bad enough that you just, like, kind of can't play the game and have to, like, re-roll a lot. That seems like a little much to me, don't you think? Like, if you can get like, rolls low enough that you need to re-roll things to, make the game playable at all, why don't just have you, like, get that kind of stats in the first place, or, like, a manual allocation system or something? Feels weird. But that's also just kind of my impatience. I know a lot of those games would have, like, pre-made characters that they really expected players to try first before they did a run with their own, so if I engage with them on, like, their own level, I'd probably get a bit more out of them. Anyway, I'm gonna try segment 2 lead again, see if I can show off the Scarlet Queen secret. So bring the Stella up. Try not to get hit like that. Those little green star-looking things I'm getting raise your Stella. The purple counterparts, or I guess they're more red, but They're a little magenta-ish. Those will lower it instead. So they're like how you control rank in this game. A little dangerous there. I don't know how I didn't get it there. I almost just ran into bullets that was standing still, but not complaining about that. Here's an advantage to having big old homing lasers, huh? Alright, let's see if I can do this boss a bit more right. Shouldn't be too hard, what with big old invincibility fields. Shit. Destroy all the parts in this thing too for that secret I'm thinking of. And if I do, it's not super hard, because except for that bit on the back. Spirit kernel exposed. Alright, let's go. This is the secret. Extra secret phase here. And if you empty its if you empty the full health bar there, it gives you a free extra life as well. A revive token, they call it. But yeah, that secret is awesome. Let's take behind, because I'm so bad at stage 3 lead. Let's try and get the rank back down some. So another thing about this game is that certain types of bullets, you can slow them down by nearing them, and some, even if they'll get canceled if you float near them enough. But it depends on the type. Let's green this thing. Her arms off. Close. Also, I like how this stage theme includes a bit of like the melody from the boss theme here. It's more of this game's awesome soundtrack. Alright. Segment 4 time. Other thing other thing I want to try and show off here is if I can get to the end of Stage 5 boss without running out of Terra. There's some cool stuff you can do there. Imagine being vulnerable to damage. That's stuff people with gender have to worry about, you know? Hey, yeah, these are what show up if you get to the end of this segment fast enough before the song ends. This pattern is just all aim stuff, but yet it's so tight. Yeah, if you come to this boss with, like, low enough lives, I forget exactly how it works, but I'm pretty sure it's just low enough lives, then Rusted Dragon just doesn't show up. I'm just like, nah, you kind of suck too much for this. And I'm not going to get the life token, it looks like. Somehow. Okay, I'm still able to get it. I'm going to destroy it over there. I still have some Terra left, so I might be able to hold on to the end of this boss fight and aid if I do well. But you also lose some Terra just on entering most stages. Either way, I can grab lives here. And getting extra lives is actually what raises Terra, so... make sure to get plenty of those. As if you needed another reason. Wasting a bit of time to get my soul to recharge. Little trick you can do in this area. That's about as bad as I guess. Keep the Terra up, huh? Ah, there it goes. Never mind. Well, that means I can't even show off the cool thing. Basically, the boss of this stage, this final phase, has like a thing you can do to boost your Terra up a lot if you still have your gauge by the end of it. In that case, let's just try and survive it, and then take the Shrine of Farewell home. Yeah, that's what a good Amalgamate boss fight looks like. Alright, here I want to keep my invincibility handy here. Thought I had that fully charged, but nope. Should've listened for the super shot. Meant to use the invincibility field, but misinputted it there, so this one's not too bad, so I can kind of just let my way through. Almost made it through now. Alright, time for the paint. Bag is so chaotic and nasty. Managed to spend enough of that invincible that I didn't have to worry about it. Four lives, and we're going to Shrine of Farewell, so... Doesn't seem impossible. I want to put Great and Pure Aleph first, just gonna want to see if the fastest way to do, Strange Moon is Monogamy. Luckily, I could do the rest of those crazy fast. I'm not always sure the best way to do this one, but if you can do something like that, it's probably helpful. That's a Monogamy advantage, not having to actually dodge that. Messed up there. Alright, now we're on the move, doing this pretty quick. Luckily, those red lines can't block my lasers, because Nogome's homing laser just goes nuts. Bad mistakes here. And yeah, this puts up the freaks here now. I don't know what the fuck this thing is. I'm not sure if it's ever explained. Some characters who can do a way better job of like catching. Because of the way they're kind of drawn towards the area below you. Basically, if you have a character that can set that has like an option, they can set below them. That could also collect items. So you just go to the top and then put that on the bottom. They basically all get sucked directly into it. Anyway, time for segment 6. See how that goes. There we go. I always felt this game had like some pretty satisfying explosions. Like on the one hand, like in terms of sounding, and on the one hand, it's not as like bassy as some explosion sounds in some shmups, and also use the same sound effect a lot. But the way it rapid fires, something about that like tickles the brain good, especially in spots like this with a ton of enemies. Should just bomb that. We'll do have one more shield hit for this stage, but shouldn't be going through with that regardless. Alright. Possible the shit. Blowjob Brothers, the Scissor Sisters. Fellatio Fellas, you know how it is. Making good use of this invincibility here. It's a good way to make some of these parts easier. Need to do a little more damage to red here. Alright, I think closer to where I want to be with regards to gamma split. Not where I want to be with regards to dodging that, though. We're into the old dick twist now. Very close to finishing off both of them. Perfect. Now to just get the fuck out of here. Out of there with, honestly, minimal loss of life compared to what can happen on that level. So, we'll see segment 7 now. Dialogue right now. Alright, so this level, I honestly think its stage and boss is not as hard as 6, but you can't lay your guard down. It's a pretty big deal nonetheless. Also, it's not, I don't think there's quite as much to refill out lives here as they have been before. So there is stuff to grab nonetheless. This part uses the whole enemies don't damage you on contact thing really interestingly, because it's true they don't, but those guys will try to slap you into those big energy blasts that will in fact damage you. They'll hurt big time. Anyway, this is Rex Cavalier, the real deal, not that pump that's in Segment 1 League. The big man himself, I'd call him. This thing's big, he's got a ton of parts, ton of health. That's the stage before it is short for a reason, because you're on this guy for the long haul. Also attempts to try and trap you, too. Also this fucked up lance attack. That meowing again. Like fast red like beetle lasers that it has in this phase. Oh, Spirit Kernel exposed, by the way. Yeah, this one's got one of those too. It's cool as fuck. Keep it standing on the edge. You find beauty in each reiteration. Time you have followed this path, find nothing but the scars that mar us all. Also, I love this attack name. Now you goes into the night. See the echoes of the past, feel it no more. Therefore, we'll pass all to you. Cotton Legend, Masterless and Lost. By the way, there's a special ending if you lose your last life to like a very specific thing that boss does at the end, where you just go insane and get an achievement for it. Kind of rules. Alright, this is segment 8. I don't expect to do well because it's been a while since I've been here, but see how it goes. The life situation is not wonderful, though. You can actually get a pretty good amount of life pieces during like the first phase of the final boss. Here? Warning. Now reaches the fatal attraction be described as Hellsinker. High destination. So this fight's a little special. This is the first phase of the final boss, and I want some specific stuff out of you. As Minogame, that's interesting, because you actually have to shoot the thing. I want to build that meter in the middle. Also means you don't want to bomb. Or use that. But, because of like the speed that the meter builds, you don't necessarily have to be perfect early on in the fight. At some point, that was a bit depressing. At some point, you're gonna want to not take a, gonna want to stop bombing and start like ramping up the attack there. So, as a break, what I'm gonna do is show off the 2 secret stages. Extra stages that. For fans of certain other dojos, you know, extra stages might be a better way to put it. There's the great majority in the way of all flesh. Each of them have their own things going on. Don't always remember which is which. But what I do know is that you got a time limit on this one. On it, you want to bust through as much as possible and get to the end. That starts. Basically, it's a 5-minute time attack, just like in Star Soldier. I think it was 5 minutes, and we're going to start at like 300%. This particular Kagura loadout is good here because a lot of stuff here so far is dropping a ton of soul, so I get to use my charge a lot. I also have to not mess up like that. This isn't free. Just surviving the whole thing is enough of a challenge if you're not on top of it. Stupid of me. Another good reason you discharge is that if you're going for tokens, they attract them to you. Ooh. Ah, I didn't even see what hit me. Give that another shot. It's not like it's long. I haven't played Fossil Maiden in a bit, if I remember how she works. Well, that's a great start. Remember how to do this. She's got a lot of specific stuff going on with her. Like this kind of wide area gun that isn't all that strong, but it also technically has two different discharges depending on if you hold the button or not. If you don't hold the button, you actually get a discharge that doesn't do any damage. It just gives you invincibility for a period of time. Which actually has some important scoring purposes as far as I'm aware. Well, you got a more traditional bomb if you hold it and you can release it to detonate it. I think if you hold it too long, it like fizzles out, and I think there's an achievement for that, which is kind of funny. Also, Fossil Maiden's soul only goes from low to high A, so ready or not ready. She doesn't have levels of it like everyone. For some reason. And as noted, yeah, some all-time bangers. Ooh. Yeah, I got cornered there before. Or I could use my sword. Alright. I'm not amazing with Fossil Maidens, but that was better than I expected to do. Try one more time with full reliable here. I thought he was gonna die from this shit. This is an especially embarrassing way, aren't I? It's so annoying. There we go. So I guess when you defeat this thing, it basically puts you at the end. It basically does this until the end of the time limit. You have a bunch of points and stuff. Whatever category you're on. Well, except for that, I guess. No mean feat. Whew. So that's, what's that called? Not the Way of All Flesh this thing. This one is... Hellsinker, I'm sure. Great majority, right. We'll save a replay for that shit. Well, might as well check the second one, The Way of All Flesh. Kind of a gross name. This one's also timed, but I believe it's a little different in how it works. Can't say I can explain how, though. Other than being way fucking harder. Background here is cool as hell, and of course, another legendary 8-track music-wise. Also, visual effects here are neat, like big circle when you destroy these things. Passing freezes, they're called. Basically, I think the other one was like... If the other one was like kind of your time attack caravan stage, I think this was like a more standard, like high difficulty extra stage. Now, for those of you who like that sort of thing. Probably another one I might not be able to play for this. Not the destructive power of the player to the right. Please unleash lasers. Now we're seeing something. Here's the boss. Where'd you put? Name 771. Hopefully at the bottom one there. Yeah, but no one might be a play for this one at all. Alright, I'll do that with Kagura once or twice more, then I'll probably call it a night. I'm taking a lot of anime, I can't stream for forever with it. Man, I implore people to give this game a look. I know it's probably like really intimidating to people who aren't so into shooters, but first of all, I'll say this. It is hard, but also like it's hard for people who are into shooters and like not in terms of like it's a really hard shooter, as much as it's just a weird fucking game. That even being good at shooters won't necessarily teach you to be good at Hellsinker. Like, eventually helps, especially if you're doing like an extra thing like this with a lot more bullet dodging. But like in general, it's something that it's just a game you learn. And it's also not as hard as it may seem because of like the main game in particular being very generous with like extra lives and stuff. And again, you just having so many powerful weapons and abilities, being able to use the game's equivalent to bomb a lot. Look how much damage I can put out with Kagura compared to this sort of thing. Totally forgot there's even another level of charge for that targeted laser attack. Don't get to use it all that much, but it's up to aim it and dodge at the same time. But that's the thing about the gameplay in this game, because the controls are a little funky. You have basically the buttons you have are main weapon, sub weapon, discharge, and like a slow movement button. Exactly what you'd expect if you played a bunch of shoot 'em ups, but beyond that, a lot of the attacks in this game are like from like combining like sub-weapon while they're like basically sub-weapon can have different effects whether you press or hold it, and also it tends to have different effects whether you're pressing like regular shot or not. So it's more about like learning like what the combinations do than like just in individual buttons. And like I mentioned, this is like specifically the extra stage, basically. Like, if you've been to a Toho, you know what it's like here. Specifically high challenge. The main game is probably not this intimidating to look at. In terms of, like, bullet counts. Other stuff is still intimidating. That's kind of the fun, you know? Figuring out something that feels, like, foreign and strange. Especially in the context of, like, an otherwise very action-packed game like this. I think it's interesting. I think that's why a lot of people would enjoy it if they gave it a chance, because there's a lot of, like, popular, like, indie games out there with lots of, like, kind of unique mechanics and lots of... Because, like, figuring out the gameplay is also like same kind of effort you put into like figuring out the story. Actually. Oh. Where are you putting these things? These are dropping lots of life pieces. So that when I do something stupid like that, I'm not quite as punished. Damn. One more second of this. Arrive on the edge. You were captured, Colonel. The lost article on the order is totally over. For all intents and purposes, that's the end of Hellsinker. Granted, you're missing out on some story stuff. It's not the end. I do think the final stuff in the main game is really impressive, but I don't think I have another full run in me tonight, so I think I might call it a day then. Thanks for showing up. I might actually pull this game out more often. Definitely the kind of game that's I can go back to basically forever, even if I've technically beaten everything. Because like it really is just that damn good in my opinion. Like, I think it's such a worthwhile experience to like play and learn this game. It's really fun, and like I didn't even show off like one of the characters or any of Kagura's other loadouts. There's a lot in this game, like very beefy for a shoot 'em up, which is I think very attractive. In that case, I'll see you next time.